Warm wishes to everyone watching this video. I am Susmita Carroll, a member of Kutumba Subham Fellowship. Our family has a very good association with Uncle MC Paul's family, and I, being a member of Kutumba Subham Fellowship, has learned so much, and it has been a blessing to me in shaping me, in being a good person spiritually, and taking up leadership or in all aspects of my life. And I'm very blessed to be a member of this. And today I want to ask Uncle a few questions, and let's know about Kutumba Subham Fellowship and how fellowship is important in our lives. Uncle, hello. Good evening, Uncle.
Good evening, Dr. Susmita Carroll.
Uncle, I want to ask you a few questions about Kutumba Subham Fellowship. What is Kutumba Subham Fellowship and how did it all start?
Dr. Susmita, I may have to clarify one thing. There is every possibility for people to say that I started this as an organization after my retirement in 2005, but that's not true. That's not true. It all began with Auntie Suguna when she started to take a small group Bible study, informal group Bible study for the young people here around. I was able to see her concern for such youngsters and their families. She continued it for some time. Later, it so happened that among 50 houses, youngsters, when I say youngsters, young people between 30 and 40 who are married youngsters. When we were in the quarters of Noble College, I used to hear of their deaths one after another. I used to feel so very sad, bad. I used to attend their funerals. And it so happened after my retirement, we came to this colony, Noble Colony. We built a house and we started living here. Auntie used to ask me, don't you see how miserable the families are? Why don't you go and talk to them? Then I used to think like this. I am a public speaker. What can I do personally? Of course, I have been in touch with all these youngsters, but informal talk I was unable to foresee. But there came a time when somebody told me that another young man is also on the deathbed, a married young man. I felt sad and I wondered how such things can happen. I went to him, talked to him. Within a week, he passed away. Then, at the time of the funeral, his friends were making jokes. They were celebrating. They were saying, "Sir, look here, I am the next one." Then someone else would interrupt and say, "No, no, no, he is not the next one. Look at that boy, sir. He is the next one." I felt so sad. Then I said, "This evening I will come to your house." That way I started visiting their houses. Slowly, concern for their welfare started building up in me. And it so happened I started taking them to meetings and then giving them exposure. Then one of those youngsters suggested, saying, "Sir, why can't we meet as a group and start Bible study?" Then I felt so very happy, and immediately I took his suggestion, and then we started a Bible study perhaps on a Tuesday evening. This is how things began. Then I thought I alone I wouldn't be able to help them. Then I requested Dr. P.C. Varghese from Chennai. I requested him, would you be able to help me here? Then he said, yes, Chandra, I'll come and be with you for 1 week or so. Then he came, we arranged meetings. Youngsters were very happy, and he was so very comfortable with those boys, and the boys were also feeling at home with him. That made me very happy. That way, such meetings continued for 9 long years with Dr. Varghese. After that, he became sick, and then these meetings anyway continued. That is how things started happening. And one day I thought, what is this? Is it an organization? Then I told myself, no, it's not an organization. It's a movement. So then I looked for a name. Soon as concern is for the family welfare, well-being, then I thought, why should I not call it Kutumba Subham? Kutumba Subham is a Telugu word, but it is South Indian word also. We can translate that into English as family bliss, Kutumba Shubham fellowship. That's how things began. So please try to note that it's just a movement, not a structural organization as such. Thank you, Susmita.
Uncle, I also want to ask, what were the challenges you faced in the early days of forming Kutumba Subham Fellowship?
They were, I am talking about the youngsters, uh, one or two youngsters died of addiction, liquor. Then another died of, we call it AIDS. Those were real challenges, and how will I be able to counsel them? Of course, they were listening to the gospel, they were listening to God's word week after week, and then year after year in the meetings. Yet, transformation was much, much awaited. And in the meantime, something very good started happening. In the colony, they stopped meeting as a group for drinking. That's a very good sign. Then their children, they started attending the Bible studies. We invited their wives and parents also. They started joining. So it was a very favorable movement wherein uh, families started slowly feeling happy. I'm happy about that. It is still continuing, and as Dr. Susmita says, uh, youngsters of Susmita's age group, they too will testify, saying they were also beneficiaries in this movement.
What was your vision when you started it initially?
When it all began, it was only for the good of the families. Slowly, those Bible studies started becoming more and more important to me. I am a preacher and I love expository preaching. So, in these Bible studies, I slowly introduced this method of expository preaching, and I involved youngsters also to slowly take up the Bible and preach in an expository manner. That's how we started growing together. It's a movement where I believe we grow together, not a master and a disciple kind of fellowship. It's a group growing together. I believe in such values. I think these values are biblical, Susmita.
Uncle, as you were telling that you started looking at the youngsters and for the beneficiary of them, did your vision ever change over the years based on the situations around?
My desire is to see that these youngsters can get completely freed from their addictions. My desire, of course, is that, but slowly my longing, as you all know, my passion is to preach God's word. So these Bible studies the became the focal point, and one of our youngsters suggested that it could go live. So it started going live, and now we see that many are being benefited from the Bible studies here. Then I talked about annual meetings. Those meetings are in January. Then we thought, why not we conduct intensive Bible classes. So intensive Bible classes, 4 days consecutively in summer and 4 days consecutively in winter. So slowly my focus shifted, and my desire became more and more to make freely God's word available to all people who watch the videos. That's how I say my vision slowly changed. But still, I love these youngsters. I want to see that they get rid of their addictions. That's always there. Thank you for such a question, Susmita.
Um, Uncle, apart from Bible studies and the annual meetings, do we have any other activities going on in Kutumba Subham Fellowship?
Thank you. Perhaps you remember that Christmas and Easter program. You too took part in that as a child artist. Um, Susmita, those days we thought we should celebrate Christmas as a community. So we called it Children Community Children Christmas, and a great celebration wherein many children and even youngsters and also old people started acting. And I still carry on writing scripts for such plays, and many Bible plays were presented on the stage, and even videos went around, and people felt very happy about such. Because those are Bible plays, not just for acting, to make people know what Bible narratives are. So many people just listen messages, they don't know actual conversations in the narrative parts. So these Bible plays brought out those narratives onto the stage, and people still continue to enjoy those, and I'm happy about that. Not just me, others are also slowly taking up the job of writing the script, and many directors and many actors, um, they involve themselves with much passion, and that delights me. I feel so very happy about such activities. So one community children Christmas on 25th of December each year, and then another community children Easter on the evening, Easter evening. These are the two other major programs. Then Suguna's birthday is on 7th, and if somebody asks me who is the founder of this movement, I'll have to admit and say that Suguna is the founder, because it's her concern and desire for the welfare and well-being of the families. So 7th February is her birthday, and we started slowly celebrating 7th February as Thanksgiving Day of Kutumba Subham. And now we may even call it Founders Day. Thank you for inquiring about such programs.
Uncle, can I also ask you about the support, may it be finances or manpower that you have?
Uh,
Or
Susmita, when things began, I thought I'll have to uh, I'll have to bring out all the resources I have to see that these programs are being conducted. But that was only my initial thinking. Immediately, family started contributing, family started joining hands with me. And today, nobody knows where finances come from. And nobody in Kutumba Subham is bothered about the finances of Kutumba Subham. We still wonder how God provides, and never we uh, went lacking, and never was any announcement asking people to contribute. And we don't believe in such things. And it is truly faith policy, if you want to call it. I'm happy to say that.
Uh, Uncle, if I remember, in the initial days, we used to have Bible study once or twice a week, and then it happened to have almost every day. Was it very stressful at that time, or were you very happy that many people are being blessed by this?
Thank you. In this movement, families belonging to various churches, they join on Sunday evenings for Bible study. So slowly their desire grew and they started asking, why not at our home? So we have many colonies in Machilipatnam and mostly Christian colonies. So these families, individual families, out of their own desire, they started asking, why not at their home? Like that, in 4 or 5 colonies, in such homes, almost every week, we used to have Bible studies. And that way, nearly 5 or 6 days in the week, we used to meet for Bible studies. And we all used to enjoy. As you say, it is stressful, but for whom? But those who organize, none of us were organizers. We were only participants. All of us were participating. No specific speaker. Uh, Anybody could be a leader in that Bible study, and many speakers. So nobody felt any stress, and nobody felt the need to sit and plan and organize. So it was as I call it, movement. It was truly a movement, and the days and years went by. But after, I should admit, after pandemic, situation changed. Slowly, people started watching live, and gatherings at homes slowly disappeared, and even Sunday gathering also slowly, uh, I mean, less and less number of people started attending. Uh, I should admit, Susmita, there are many times of disappointment. Those are always there. If I don't mention those, I would only be bluffing. Much of happiness, and at the same time, uh, I used to many a time felt let down by individuals and even families. Yet, uh, I mean, these live programs, when they started picking up, Holland used to say, don't worry about all those. See how many are slowly participating on live, and how many are receiving the benefit. Um, such a such is also a good act on our part. So let it continue happily. Then I slowly realized that it's God's way. Wherever God's word is preached, there would be people to receive, and it all depends on our desire and passion to preach God's word. So in Kutumba Subham, all of us speakers, when we speak or when we preach with passion, we are sure there are people to receive, and there are many who are being benefited. That way, uh, Dr. Susmita, I'm happy. I'm overcoming the periods of disappointment.
Uncle, talking about speakers, you bring in a lot of people to KSF. So, how do you deal with that? How do you bring in speakers? And
Uh, Dr. Susmita, when things began, MC Paul was local speaker. Later, as I told you, Dr. Varghese joined us. He became more important. And then Dr. Siraj also joined us. He happily joined the movement here. Machilipatnam is his in-laws place, so he thought it would be good to join this movement. He voluntarily, happily joined. And his friend, Mr. Devasahayam also joined. They became more important, and I used to feel happy about that. Like that, many speakers, both locally and from outside, started making use of this Kutumba Subham platform. Then, Dr. Susmita, you may be interested to know that there is another great movement, a Right Theology Forum, RTF. That movement slowly, I slowly became a part of it on the invitation of Mr. John Christopher, the studies chairman. So when these two movements, as I see, joined hands, miracles started happening, and more and more people started getting the benefit, both by RTF, of course, mainly. Then Edwards channel also became more and more important to all those who love the word, God's word. Book by book, we started studying as a team. John, Edward, Suresh, and MC Paul. That way, we started working as a team to see that book by book, much expository preaching is received all around. That way, it did wonders. You may ask me why. Yes, truly wonders. When much false teaching is all around, these book studies acted as a check to such false teaching. Not just those who follow live, but also those who forward these videos. They did a great job. And slowly, small young pastors started receiving the benefit. And I hope on a future day, because of RTF mainly, because of Edwards channel mainly, and because of also Kutumba Subham, all false teaching in the Telugu states would be slowly erased. And then, Dr. Susmita, you may wonder, noting that people round the world, particularly Telugu enthusiastic, well-meaning believers are receiving the benefit. And slowly these movements have become global. Dr. Varghese, on the very first day, he made an announcement saying, see, this Kutumba Subham would become global on a future day. And his word has come true. True, RTF, Edwards channel, and Kutumba Subham have become global. And Telugu well-meaning, believing young men, well-meaning, believing families are receiving the benefit, and I vouchsafe that it's happening, and you may also feel happy to know this. Thank you.
Uncle, now that you spoke about false teachings and false doctrine, you would have faced challenges regarding this, that people getting added on to Kutumba Shubham Fellowship from different places, it being online or at the local area. How did you deal with this?
Dr. Susmita, when I started becoming slowly popular, many even evangelists and other Christian leaders started visiting me. So when I talk to them, I often feel the urge or necessity to talk to them about the right teaching, right doctrine. And that way, personal counseling took place. Many might not have taken it happily, but anyway, that's my desire. So, in our interactions, I make use of opportunities to correct some people who are particularly related to me. For a long, long period, there are people who are related to me. They are great leaders now, and such people need to know my mind. So I make sure they receive what I say. Uh, Thank you. Um, Susmita, I believe when God's word uh, goes as a rightly divided God's word or cut straight God's word, it does its job. As Dr. Martin Lloyd says, let the lion defend itself. So let scriptures go forth and set people right. That's my belief, and that's how I try to operate. Thank you.
Uncle, may I take this time to ask you about this fellowship being different from others, as there are many open doors outside in other fellowships?
Dr. Susmita, my advice to all people is not to lose any platform. These days, platforms are very important. All those well established platforms should continue to be so, and people continue to make use of these platforms. That's my desire. People should continue making use of these. Uh, as you say, Kutumba Subham, we don't claim saying it's a totally different platform. No, it is a platform which enables us to serve God's word, serve Him faithfully, and preach God's word faithfully. That is how we try to make use of this platform, and that's the only difference. Difference is the motive, the motto. That is the difference. We do not deviate. We want God's word to be received all over as it is presented in the text. My point here is when God gave 66 books, uh, piety is only a part of those 66 books, and piety is mostly personal. But God's mind is hidden in those 66 books. He wants to reveal, but there should be people to go through those 66 books. My desire is to see that people get overall understanding of these 66 books, particularly to receive God's mind. You see, Dr. Tozer once said, uh, you can worship God only to the extent you know Him. So how can anybody worship God without knowing Him, particularly without knowing His mind? We can know God by knowing His mind. His mind is present in 66 books. Kutumba Subham platform uses the platform to see that these 66 books are well read and 66 books are made use of to get an overall understanding to each of those who sincerely follow these studies. RTF is doing their job, and such a job we appreciate, and Kutumba Shubham joins hands with RTF in this regard. Thank you.
Uncle, Kutumba Shubham Fellowship has come thus far. So, what are you thankful to God for?
Oh, Dr. Susmita, great question. We should be thankful to God. I am thankful to God particularly for the members in the fellowship who have joined and who with me are a team. We are all a team. So we are growing together. And such a thought, how God presented in my mind, I do not know. But I feel so happy for promoting such a thought. And today we see that truly it's happening. all of us, including you, we are all growing together as members of a fellowship. It's not master disciple kind. It's all disciples, but all of us are disciples of Jesus Christ, growing together. That makes me happy, and I ever remain grateful to God for making me an instrument for such a possibility. Thank you.
Uncle, we have seen KSF grow so much. Um, it being Bible studies or families being well built in this. If we have to start this somewhere else with the same desire.
Yes, Smita, for that matter, I should tell you that there is a strong Kutumba Subham group in Hyderabad. There is like that in other places like Vijayawada, Gunturu. We have small groups there. It's not not an organization, as I have already told you. So anyone who has desire can invite 2-3 families to their homes, to his home, and then start a Bible study. He may not lead it. He may ask someone to lead it. Like that, 2-3 families coming together and then reading the Bible together. That's the Kutumba Subham movement like. And another thing I should tell you, here in Kutumba Subham, we don't differentiate between women and men. We don't differentiate between young and old, children and elderly. No, we don't differentiate. All together we sit. So children keep playing and now and then start listening, and it continues to happen. So in every Kutumba Subham Bible study, beginning with the 2-year-old baby to a 80-year-old man, all of us sit together and then study the Bible together. That's the speciality of Kutumba Subham. So such movement could be started in any place, including places, cities abroad. You can invite 2-3 families to your home and then start a Bible study. That's Kutumba Subham. Kutumba Subham of your choice and of your delight. It can happen that way. Thank you. Friends, I am very thankful to Dr. Susmita Potharaju, CMC Vellore, for taking time to interview me. These things are really important, though not immediately, they are of importance in the future. So I am thankful to Dr. Susmita for putting these questions to me.
I take it as a privilege about knowing how KSF has started and how is it going. Uncle's desire to tell the truth to everybody, that everybody should know the Lord and to grow in Him and to know the scriptures in depth. This fellowship is for everyone and everybody can feel free to join in and make it yours. And I think personally, wherever we are, we can even start our own Bible study and help people grow in the Lord and tell them about the Lord and to know Him more. As Uncle always says, only when we desire can we have a fellowship. This helps us to grow together in the Lord and as a community. I take this time to thank Uncle once again for giving his time to us and telling about KSF and the fellowship.